Hello everyone, today I will tell you about the movie The Perfect Trap. And before I start, I want to thank you for watching me, subscribing and leaving comments, and with you a brief romance and let's go. At the beginning of the film, we are shown how a young couple Cassie and Brian go to an Italian villa for a vacation. Arriving at the place, they admire the villa and the area. The first night, while Brian is struggling with sleep and decides to walk around the house, we are shown that someone is watching them with hidden cameras. In the morning, the girl goes for a run to get rid of past bad memories. At this moment, we realize that they have come to the house not to relax, but to sort out their relationship. After all, in the past Cassie cheated on him with a work colleague who took advantage of her when she was drunk. The girl runs through the forest and lost in her thoughts, she stumbles against a tree, falls and injures her leg. Then she walks down the road and to her happiness a pickup truck passes by and she stops it. Charming Italian Federico comes out of it and helps her. This time, Brian is thinking about a marriage proposal. Federico gives her a ride home and she invites him for coffee. When they drink coffee, Brian comes out and meets an Italian. He offers them a lift to the city the next day and they agree. As he leaves, they decide to do it, but nothing happens because he is haunted by her past infidelity. He leaves the bathroom and she looks after him. They don't even suspect that the charming Italian is watching them through hidden cameras. The next day comes and the Italian, as promised, comes for them. He shows them the sights, but the trip is not in the spirit because the couple is tense. But they keep up the conversation with the last of their strength. They arrive in the city and go for a walk, and Federico leaves. Brian reproaches her for not noticing Federico's lustful gaze and reminds her what she did. She takes offense and returns to the house. And Brian gets drunk in a bar, and at that moment Federico joins him and gets him drunk. He tells him that he wants to propose to her, but the memories stop him. And he says that it would not be bad to even the score with her, and after that the Italian brings two of his girlfriends. After getting him very drunk, he admits that he planned this evening so that Casey would be left alone. In the morning, Brian suffers from a hangover and can't remember what happened yesterday. He goes to the house and remembers the words of the Italian. He approaches her and says that he does not trust the Italian and says that she would not communicate with him. Federico shows up at the house when Brian goes for a walk and realizes that Federico is not their neighbor. And he starts running home. But there he finds the Italian and Casey at the table who were preparing to eat. They don't stay alone for long and Brian asks the Italian to get out of the house. But he says he won't go anywhere and blackmails him with a video where he cheats with two Italian women. Dinner passes quietly and the Italian leaves. Brian tells the girl that he is not their neighbor and dials the owner of the house. And warns about a suspicious fake neighbor. The Italian watches them reconcile and plans to do things, and then we realize that Federico is in love with Cassie. And lures Brian into a trap and leaves a note for Casey to blindfold her. She thinks that the note is from Brian and fulfills what was written in the note. An Italian comes in and starts caressing, but as soon as he hears that the prisoner is running out, he plays the video on the TV. When he left the phone next to her on which there is a video of Brian cheating. Upset, she gets dressed and goes to Brian and they fight. Emotionally, Casey throws the phone at Brian, but misses and hits the mirror, and behind the mirror they notice a hidden camera. At this moment, they realize that they were secretly being watched. The Italian looks into the cameras and realizes that he has been discovered and goes to them. They are going to call the police, but he disrupts their plans and they beg to let them go. The Italian attacks Brian with a knife and they fight. Federico turns out to be stronger and Casey takes the iron to knock him out. He is stunned, but Casey is furious and does not control himself, as a result of which he finishes him off. Brian tells her to stop and that she could face jail. He also says he won't let her go to jail. They hear the sound of a car approaching and Brian tells her to wipe away the traces of blood, and he hid the corpse. The owner of the house to whom he called arrived. Brian says that the problems have been solved, but the owner Eduardo says that he must make sure that everything is fine in the house. Eduardo goes for a checkup, and Brian and Casey panic from not understanding what to do. As a result, they decide to sneak up on him and kill him too. At this time the owner of the house comes to the computers and it turns out that he is Federico's accomplice. He rewinds the recording and sees how they killed the Italian. After that, he approaches Casey and orders her to confess to the murder, and at this time Brian comes up from behind and suddenly the owner turns and aims a gun at him. He accuses them of killing the Italian on purpose and tries to convince him that it was self-defense, but he is not going to listen to them. Casey finishes him off from behind, too. Brian takes the gun and finishes him off. He finds a room with computers and realizes that they were recording more than just them. He burns all the films and buries the bodies. In their hearts, they promise each other not to tell anyone about this. Because of these events, they get closer and finally make love. They destroyed all the cameras they saw in the computer, but I don't know that there are other hidden cameras. And people all over the world see it, because as it turns out it was an online broadcast from which viewers are horrified, but no one believes in the reality of these videos. And that's it. Thank you for watching, and if you liked it, then like it, subscribe to the channel, click the bell and write in the comment how do you like this movie. I had a brief affair with you. Bye to everyone.